Tonight, you do not need to conquer anything. You don't need to win against your thoughts, or prove you're okay, or hold your face in the right expression for the world. If you feel anxious, let that be the only truth you carry for a moment. I feel anxious. And then let something even gentler join it. I am here with myself. Sometimes anxiety arrives like a sudden weather change. One minute you were moving through a normal day, and the next you're tight in the chest, restless in the hands, quick in the mind. You start scanning for reasons. You start bargaining with the future. You start rehearsing conversations that haven't happened. And in all that effort, your body quietly asks for something simpler than answers. So we begin with the first thing, not the whole fix, not a grand plan, the first thing. If it helps, let your attention rest on the idea that breathing is already happening, even if it feels shallow, even if it feels uneven, even if it feels like it can't quite reach the bottom of you, it is still happening. Your life is still moving through you. That matters. You might notice the place where the air brushes the inside of your nose, or the place where your ribs shift, or the small rise and fall near your belly. There is no right place to focus. There is only a place to land. If your mind slips away, that is not a problem. That is simply a mind being a mind. Each time you return, you are practicing tenderness. Let the out-breath become your first kindness, not forced, not dramatic, just a little longer. Like you are setting down a heavy bag you forgot you were carrying. A longer exhale is a soft signal. It says we can loosen the grip. It says we can come back to this moment. And while you let that exhale lengthen in its own natural way, let your words soften too, because anxious thoughts can be sharp. They speak in urge. And sentences, they make demands. They insist on certainty, but your loving voice can be different. Your loving voice can be slow enough to hear. My dear, if you are anxious, it does not mean you are failing. It does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you are behind. It means you are human, and something in you is trying very hard to protect you. Here is a truth line you can keep. Your anxious mind is not your enemy. It's a guard dog that's tired. It has been running the perimeter of your life, sniffing for danger, checking every sound, keeping you on alert. It thinks it is helping, and in a way, it is. It just doesn't always know when to stand down. So instead of fighting it, you can speak to it the way you might speak to a devoted dog trembling in a storm, not with anger, with steadiness, with love, with a hand on the heart of things. It makes sense that I feel this, and I can be gentle with myself anyway. Let that be a doorway, not a debate, not an argument, a doorway. Anxiety often grows when we ask ourselves the harshest question, what's wrong with me? That question is like a bright light in a wounded place. It makes everything tense. It turns feeling into a problem. But there is another question, softer and truer. What is my heart asking for right now? Maybe your heart is asking for reassurance. Maybe it's asking for rest. Maybe it's asking for a little space from noise, from screens, from other people's expectations. Maybe it's asking for a tiny, clear next step instead of 1,000 imagined steps. Whatever it is, you don't have to know perfectly to be kind. If you like, you can try a simple phrase that does not deny reality and does not feed fear. It is honest and loving at the same time. I am safe enough in this moment to soften by 1 degree. Not forever, not in every possible future, just in this moment, safe enough to soften by 1 degree. Anxiety tries to rush you into the future. It pulls you toward what-ifs, toward worst cases, toward scenes that have not yet arrived. And when you are there, in that imagined future, your body responds as if it is already happening. So your first act of care is to come back, not by force, by choice. With each exhale, I release one unnecessary alarm. Sometimes you will feel the mind argue. It will say, yes, but what about this? Yes, but what if that happens? And you can answer it with calm, not with proof. I can be here without fixing everything. I can be kind to myself while I wait. There is a special kind of suffering in waiting. Waiting for news, waiting for a reply, waiting for a decision, waiting for clarity. The mind hates the open loop. It wants to close the door. It wants to stamp certainty on the moment. And if it can't, it creates stories to fill the gap. You don't have to punish yourself for that. You can simply notice it, yeah. You can say, oh, my mind is trying to close the loop, and then you can return to the first thing. Soften the exhale, soften the words. Let's talk about loving words for a moment. Loving words are not magical spells. They are not meant to erase life. They are meant to change the tone you live in. They are a way of standing beside yourself instead of standing over yourself with a whip. When anxiety rises, many people speak to themselves in a voice they would never use with a child or a friend. They say, get it together, stop being dramatic. You should be over this. You're wasting time. And the body hears those words like danger. It tightens even more. So we choose a different tone, a tone that says, I'm listening, a tone that says, you don't have to earn care, a tone that says, we can do the next small thing. Comfort is not a lie, it's a kindness. Try that line like warm tea. Comfort is not a lie, it's a kindness. Now, because your mind is clever, it may say, but if I comfort myself, I'll become lazy. I'll stop trying. I'll let things fall apart. This is a common fear. Many people confuse gentleness with giving up, but gentleness is not surrender. Gentleness is steadying. It's a way to keep moving without breaking yourself. So if you need a thought swap, here is one that respects your reality. Instead of, I shouldn't feel this, you can try, it makes sense I feel this, and I can still be gentle. Instead of, I have to fix it right now, you can try, I can take one small step when I'm steadier. Instead of, I must be certain, you can try, I can be present. And if your thoughts feel like a crowd, you can let one phrase become the thread you hold. I am allowed to pause before I proceed. Notice how that sentence gives you space. Anxiety hates space. It wants immediacy. It wants a quick answer. But space is where you can breathe. Space is where you can choose. Here is a metaphor for you, sweet one. Anxiety can feel like standing in a loud hallway with doors slamming and voices echoing and fluorescent lights buzzing. In that hallway, everything seems urgent, everything demands attention, everything feels too close. Your breath is a doorway, not a dramatic escape, not a denial, just a doorway into a quieter room inside you. You don't have to solve the hallway to choose the room. You can step through on purpose. When you step into that quieter room, you might notice a small thing you can do later when you're calmer. Maybe it's sending one message. Maybe it's drinking water. Maybe it's putting one task in a list. Maybe it's asking for a little help. But for now, the room is for being, for returning, for remembering you are not alone with yourself. I am safe enough to be here. Say it softly in your own mind if you like. I am safe enough to be here. And if you don't believe it fully, that's okay. Belief is not a requirement. Willingness is enough. The nervous part of you doesn't need grand speeches. It needs consistent kindness. It needs repetition that feels believable. So let your affirmations be like stones in a pocket, simple, smooth, real. I can meet this moment slowly. I can meet this moment kindly. Now, I want to offer you a short story, not as a lesson to swallow, but as a mirror to hold. There was a woman named Mira who looked calm to everyone around her. She was responsible, capable, quick to respond. She kept the calendar, she held the threads, and because she could do so much, people assumed she was always fine. But Mira had a private habit. When she sent a message, she would watch her phone like it held her worth. When she spoke up in a meeting, she would replay every sentence afterward. When someone's tone shifted, she would search her memory for what she did wrong. Her mind tried to predict other people's reactions as if prediction could prevent pain. One afternoon, she noticed her breath had become tiny. She noticed her shoulders were practically living in her ears. She noticed she was writing entire conversations in her head that had not happened, and something in her finally said, "This is too much." Mira didn't fix her whole life that day. She didn't suddenly become fearless. She did one small thing first. She sat where she was, and she let her exhale stretch out just a little, like letting the air carry away the urgency, and then she spoke to herself with a voice she wished she had heard growing up. I release what isn't mine to carry. She didn't say it like a command. She said it like a blessing. I release what isn't mine to carry. In the days that followed, Mira began to notice a pattern. Her anxiety spiked most when she tried to control how other people might feel. Control felt like safety until it became a cage, and each time she caught herself reaching for the cage, she returned to the first step, soften the breath, soften the words. She began to practice a new sentence when she was waiting on someone else's response. I can care without chasing. That sentence didn't remove uncertainty, but it changed her posture inside uncertainty. It helped her stand up in herself instead of shrinking into a question mark. Maybe you see yourself somewhere in Mira. Maybe your version is different. Maybe your mind runs ahead about health, relationships, work, family, choices, timing. Whatever the topic, the mechanism is often the same. The mind reaches for control to soothe fear. So here is another truth line. You are allowed to be a person in process. You are allowed to not have all the answers today. Let's make a gentle vow together, the kind you can keep without strain. A vow is not a punishment. It's a promise of companionship. I will not abandon myself when I feel afraid. Oh, I'll not speak to myself like an enemy. I will not rush my own heart. If those words feel too big, make them smaller. My love, even a small vow counts. I will come back to myself. And when you come back to yourself, you can choose a tiny practice that fits inside your real life. You don't need a perfect ritual. You need a repeatable one. The first step can be as small as noticing your jaw and letting it unclench. It can be as small as lowering your shoulders. It can be as small as letting the next exhale be slower than the last. Then you pair it with loving words, like tying a ribbon around a trembling moment. This matters, and I can meet it slowly. Notice the power of that. It honors your life, it honors the importance, and it refuses urgency as the only way to respond. Anxiety often insists that speed equals safety. Hurry, it says. Fix it, it says. Solve it, it says. But you can answer with another kind of intelligence. I choose steadiness over scrambling. I choose kindness over cruelty. I choose one next step over 1,000 imagined steps. And if your mind demands proof, if it says, "But how do I know everything will be okay?" you can give it something honest. I do not know everything, and I am still here. You are still here. That is not small, that is not nothing, that is strength without aggression, that is courage without a performance. Many people discover that when they stop wrestling their thoughts, the thoughts lose some of their heat. They may still appear, but they don't have to drive. They can sit in the back seat, they can talk, they can worry, and you can keep your hands on the wheel with gentleness. If you catch yourself scanning for danger, you can whisper a softer instruction to your attention. Come home. Come home to your senses. Come home to this room. Come home to what is actually happening right now, not as denial, but as presence. Here's another affirmation you can lean on, especially when your chest feels tight or your stomach feels fluttery. My body is trying to protect me, and I can thank it while I soften. Thank you, body. Thank you for caring. And now we can ease. Sometimes the most healing thing is to stop treating your anxiety like a scandal, not a secret to hide, not a flaw to be ashamed of, not a sign you're too much. Just a signal that you need more care, just a moment asking for gentleness. Let the shame fall away first. Shame is gasoline for anxiety. Shame says, you shouldn't be this way. Shame says, everyone else is doing better. Shame says, if they see you, they'll leave. But love says something else. I am worthy of love, even when I feel unsettled. I am worthy of patience, even when I'm afraid. I am worthy of my own compassion. And because we're keeping this practical, let's return to the simplest mechanism again. Exhale a little longer than you inhale, whenever you remember, not as a strict rule, as a friendly action. The longer exhale is like telling the body, you can come down from the ledge. It's like turning down the volume. It's like dimming the harsh lights in the hallway. And while you do that, keep your words simple and believable. In this moment, I choose peace like a language. I practice it, one syllable at a time, not perfectly, not permanently, just now. If anxiety shows up again later today, you won't have to start from zero. Every gentle return builds a pathway. Every loving word becomes a familiar place. Every soft exhale becomes a signal you recognize. You might even begin to notice the moment anxiety starts, not when it's already a storm, but when it's still a breeze. You might feel the first tightening, the first rushing thought, the first urge to fix, and you can meet it early, like greeting a worried friend at the door. You're here. Okay, come in. Let's sit down. That inner hospitality is powerful. It doesn't mean you like anxiety. It means you stop making it the enemy and you stop making yourself the battlefield. Before we close, I want to linger with you a little longer in what "do this first" truly means, because anxious moments can make you feel like you must become someone else immediately. More confident, more organized, more spiritually advanced, more unbothered, and that pressure can create a second wave of anxiety, the kind that says, "I'm anxious about being anxious. I'm failing at calming down. I'm doing it wrong." So let's remove the performance. This is not a test. This is a return. There is a quiet difference between soothing and suppressing. Suppressing says, "Go away, you're not allowed here." Soothing says, "I see you and I'm here." The second one builds trust inside you. Over time, that trust becomes a steadier floor. If you're willing, you can offer your anxious part a name that feels gentle, not dramatic. You might call it the worried one. You might call it the protector. You might call it the watcher. Naming it kindly can help you remember that it is a part of you, not the whole of you. And then you can speak to it like this: "Thank you for trying to keep me safe. You can rest for a moment." Notice how that changes the energy. It doesn't argue with fear. It doesn't shame it. It gives it a job description and then gives it a break. Sometimes, too, anxiety is fueled by the belief that you must figure everything out alone. But humans were never meant to be islands. Even when you're physically alone, you can create a sense of support by how you speak to yourself. Your inner voice can become a gentle companion, not a judge. My love, you are allowed to need comfort. You are allowed to need reassurance. And because anxiety can hook into the body, it can help to notice small places you might be bracing without realizing it. People often clench the jaw, curl the toes, tighten the belly, lift the shoulders, or squeeze the hands. You don't have to fix all of it. Just noticing is already loosening. There is a kind of wisdom in the body that is older than your worries. The body understands rhythm. The body understands repetition. The body understands safety through consistency. That's why a soft, steady breath can be such a faithful tool. It's not about forcing calm. It's about practicing a signal your body can learn. If your anxiety comes in waves, you can ride the wave instead of trying to stop the ocean. A wave rises, peaks, and falls. Your job is not to shame the wave. Your job is to stay with yourself while it passes. Here is a gentle question for you. What are you afraid will happen if you slow down? Sometimes the answer is surprising. You might be afraid that if you slow down, you'll feel grief you've been avoiding. You might be afraid you'll notice how tired you are. You might be afraid you'll realize you need help, and those realizations can feel heavy, but they are also honest, and honesty is the beginning of real care. Let your care be practical and tender, not grand, not perfect, practical like a cup of warm water, tender like a blanket. You don't have to earn these things. You don't have to be better first. I can care for myself in small ways. And if your mind insists on replaying the past, you can remind it that replaying is not the same as repairing. Rumination often promises control, but it usually delivers exhaustion. So when you notice the replay, you can gently redirect, like guiding a child back from a scary story. That was then, this is now, I am here. Sometimes anxiety comes from caring deeply. If you didn't care, you might not worry. You worry because you love, because you want things to go well, because you want to be safe, because you want to belong. So rather than treating anxiety as proof that something is wrong, you can treat it as proof that you have a tender heart. Then you can guide that heart instead of scolding it. My caring does not have to turn into panic. My love does not have to turn into fear. My sensitivity can become wisdom. If you're listening during a spike, you might be tempted to grasp at fast relief. That is understandable. But first doesn't mean fast. First means foundational. It means you are choosing the base layer of safety. You are building from the ground up, not from the ceiling down. Now let's talk about the moments when you don't feel calm after you try, because sometimes you will soften your exhale and say the loving words and still feel anxious. That doesn't mean it failed. It means your body may need more than one signal, more than one cycle, more than one return. Think of it like knocking on a door that has been shut for a long time. The first knock is still meaningful. It begins the opening. And sometimes the win is smaller than calm. Sometimes the win is simply less panic. Sometimes it's a little more space between thoughts. Sometimes it's the ability to stop spiraling for 10 seconds. Those 10 seconds matter. They are your life. They are your choice. They are your proof that you can come back. If you feel anxious about other people, remember that you cannot control the entire world's emotions. You can influence with kindness. You can communicate with clarity. You can choose boundaries, but you cannot be responsible for everyone's reactions. That burden is too heavy for a human nervous system. I release the role of managing everyone. I return to the role of caring for myself. And if your anxiety is connected to being too much or not enough, you can bring love right to that tender place. Many anxious people carry an old belief that they must be perfect to be safe. But perfection is a moving target. It keeps you running. Safety doesn't come from perfection. Safety comes from belonging. And the first belonging you can practice is belonging to yourself. I belong to myself. I am not required to be perfect to be loved. I am allowed to be real. Sometimes your mind may ask, but what if something truly bad happens? And we can answer that honestly, without false promises. Life has uncertainty. Things can change. People can disappoint. Plans can shift. But even in uncertainty, you can cultivate a steady inner relationship. You can learn to meet what comes with presence and support. You can gather resources. You can ask for help. You can take one step at a time. I can face what is real when it arrives. I do not have to suffer it early. Suffering early is what anxiety often tries to do. It rehearses pain as if rehearsal will lessen impact, but rehearsal often only drains you, so you can practice this. I will meet the moment that is here, not the moment my mind invents. This moment is enough. In this moment, I choose tenderness. In this moment, I am breathing. And because words matter, let's make sure your loving words don't accidentally become another form of pressure. Sometimes people try affirmations like, I am always calm, I am never afraid, everything is perfect. And if that isn't true, the mind rejects it and feels worse. So we choose affirmations that are believable, spacious, and kind. I am learning. I am practicing. I am willing to soften. I am allowed to begin again. If you want a small anchor phrase for daily life, you can carry this one into the grocery store, into the commute, into the conversation, into the waiting room, into the moment you open an email. Soft breath, loving words, one step. Soft breath, loving words, one step. It can be your rhythm. It can be your steady handrail. It doesn't announce itself. It simply supports you. And if you ever notice that your thoughts are turning cruel, if they are calling you names, if they are telling you you're a burden, if they are telling you you'll never be okay, please treat that as a sign to bring in extra support in your real life, the way you would for someone you love. You do not have to carry those thoughts alone. Your tenderness is not meant to be solitary. It is meant to be shared where it's safe. For now, here, in this moment, let the tone of your inner voice be your first medicine in the everyday sense of the word, your first remedy of comfort, your first balm of kindness, your first steady hand. I speak to myself with love. I listen to myself with patience. I return to myself with respect. Let's do a micro recap before we move toward the close. When anxiety rises, you don't sprint, you return, you soften the exhale, you offer loving words that are believable, you give yourself permission to go slowly, you stop suffering early, you come home. And if you need one final truth line to keep, let it be this. You are not behind, you are becoming. You are learning the art of staying with yourself. You are doing better than you think, simply by showing up with kindness. Sweet one, your life is not a problem you have to solve while holding your breath. Your life is something you get to live while being on your own side. So let's gather what you've practiced here into a small, simple recap you can carry. First, you soften the exhale just a little as a signal of safety. Second, you speak loving words that do not fight reality. Words like, it makes sense I feel this, and I can be gentle. Third, you give yourself permission to go slowly, to choose one small step later, and to rest now in presence. That's it. That's the first step. Breath and loving words, a doorway and a room, a tired guard dog being thanked, then guided back to rest. If you want a few more phrases to keep close, let them be these, spoken like a hand on your own shoulder. I am safe enough to soften. I am allowed to pause. I can meet this slowly. I release what isn't mine to carry. I will not abandon myself. And if you feel tears, let them be welcome. Tears are not failure. They are often the body's way of letting go of what it has been holding too tightly. If you feel nothing, that's welcome too. Numbness is also a way of protecting. You don't have to force a feeling to be doing this right. The only thing you need is a small willingness to be kind. May you feel held by your own attention. May your breath become a gentle companion. May your inner voice be a safe place to rest. And when anxiety visits again, as it sometimes does in a human life, may you remember the first thing, not the whole mountain, just the first step. A softer exhale, a loving word, a quiet return. You are here, you are worthy, and in this moment, you can be gentle.